It is impossible to talk about algebra if we don't first talk about variables, because variables are the main topic in algebra. And even though throughout this course and Algebra II course and even in the geometry course, we're going to be dealing a lot with them. We're going to be learning about operations, we're going to be learning how to manipulate them, how to move them around. We first need to define and understand what a variable is. And a variable is just, most of the times we use letters, it's a letter, is an expression that represents a number we don't know its value, or at least we don't know its value yet. But let's dive deeper into this concept and analyze what a variable is. Let's say that we have one dog weighing 50 pounds. If we want to calculate the total weight of the dogs in the screen, we need to multiply that 50 times 1 because we only have one dog, and it gives us 50 pounds as the total weight. But what happens if we include a second dog, also weighing 50 pounds? Then we no longer multiply times 1, we now multiply times 2, and we get 100 pounds. If we add a third dog, also weighing 50 pounds, we need to replace the 2 for a 3. 3 times 50, 150 pounds now. And as we change the number of dogs, for example, if we put a 4, we need to replace the number the 50 is being multiplied, because that's going to change the total weight of our dogs in the screen. If we put a fifth dog, then we change the 4 for a 5, because we have now 5 dogs, which gives us 250 pounds. So this number, we are multiplying the 50 times, will depend on the number of dogs that are on a screen. When we had 1, it was a 1. When we had 3, it was a 3. If we have 5, it's 5. And if we get to have 25 dogs, it would be a 25. The 50 stays the same because all the dogs are weighing 50 pounds. So this number is going to represent the number of dogs we have, which in this case is 5. That's why we keep a 5. But what if we wanted to write an expression that tells us the weight of the dogs if we don't know yet how many dogs are there? If we want to write something that simply we know it's going to work regardless of the amount of dogs there are. Well, if we don't know how many dogs there are, we need to delete that 5 and the 250. We don't know how many there are. And this is where we introduce the concept of a variable, which most of the times we use x. Even though we can use any letter, the most common letter is x. This x represents the number of dogs, which we don't know yet. But all we have to do is replace that x for the number of dogs. If we have 2 dogs, we erase that x and put a 2. If we have 12 dogs, we replace that x and we put a 12. And if we have 1,000 dogs, we erase that x and write 1,000. So that x, it's a number we don't know its value yet, and that's what a variable is. And this expression is going to tell us the total weight of the dogs. So if we have 35 dogs, we simply replace the x for a 35 and multiply 50 times 35. Although generally we don't write it as x times 50, we write it as 50x. It's more common to write it like this, first the number, then the variable, but this is an expression that is going to tell us the total weight of the dogs, regardless of the number of dogs. All we have to do is replace the x for the total number of dogs there are.